Hi, my name is Alicia, and this is my testimony of hope. I was in an abusive marriage for 13 years, grew up in a family that believed in God but wasn't really actively involved in church. I was saved at an early age, and I was very passionate about my belief in Christ as a child and as a teenager. Moved out when I was 18. My dad struggled with addiction. My parents divorced when I was 9, and my mom remarried. My stepdad also struggled with addiction for many years. Just wasn't an ideal situation. All the family pictures looked great, but a lot of things went on behind closed doors that didn't really want everybody to know. And I struggled with that for many years. Ended up, when I was 18, I moved out. And while I was in college, I met my husband. We were married for about 13 years. First couple of years were great. Honeymoon stages, everything was fine. But over time, I began to realize that he struggled with addiction to alcohol, opiates, prescription drugs, street drugs. Over time, became more and more apparent. As the addiction progressed and time went on even more, he became abusive, destructive of property, irresponsible, not really functional. He was abusive physically, emotionally, sexually. It just became a very, very stressful situation, not a safe environment. I tried to leave, tried to divorce him several times, and kept wanting to believe he would change. And I went back. After our son was born, thinking he wanted to be a better dad. And I had seen some behavior changes and some apologies and him admitting some things he had done wrong. So I thought, this is the right thing to do, to go back and give him another chance, because I believe he can change. God can do anything, and he can. But the third time I went back, it got worse. He tried to kill me, had a gun at my head, and somebody had called the police. And at the moment where his finger was on the trigger, the police knocked on the door. I had prayed earlier that day, God, I know this is not your will for us to endure this suffering. And I don't know what to do. God, show me how to get out of this. Make it obvious so I don't miss it. And he did. He removed my husband. He went to jail. He was facing felony charges for trying to kill me. Had 5 charges he was facing, looking at, 20 years in jail almost. And so after that, my son and I moved to be closer to my family and to try and deal with everything. I had support here. Got involved in church, and I had so many incredible people that surrounded me that just lifted me up, encouraged me when I needed it most in ways that I cannot even explain. So many people that I could never thank enough. But God has done amazing things through that relationship with all the fellow believers. He has strengthened my faith, and God brought me to a place where I, for a long time I prayed, God, give him the maximum sentence. Let him pay for everything he's done wrong. And I hit a place of peace where I just said, God, let it be over. Whatever your will is, just give me peace with it and let it be over. And it was 40 days later when my husband passed away because of heart issues that had been ongoing, and increasingly more so with continued drug use and mistreatment of his body. And that's not how I expected things to end. But it became, it was a bunch of mixed emotions during that time. Explaining to my son why his dad's not going to be around. It's not been easy. And I had told my son that, I can't promise we're never going to be in a tornado. But if we are, God will use it for good to help you or to help somebody else. And I had that same conversation when his dad passed. It sucks. It's not ideal, but God will use this. And he has. I've seen, my son has had opportunities to share that with other people already and he's 9. And I've been able to encourage him to share his story as well. It's not been easy, but God has strengthened his faith, has strengthened my faith, and continues to do so. And I have had the opportunity to get a ministry foundation. I know God is calling me to share my story, to help impact other people, and to change lives. And God can do the same with you. I know situations are not ideal, but there's a reason for everything we go through, and God won't waste the pain. God will strengthen your faith. He will use it to help others and to grow your love for him and to use you for kingdom work.